Marshall, Kathy McDonald, number 1, Andrea's Pocket, owned by Gary Bobo in the Star Country Stable with Art Jones. 2, Priminetta, owned by Rick Moon Jr., Charlie Stein, and Robert Baker, driven by David Miller. 3, Classy Falcon, owned by Sandy Beatty and Ann Ellis with Brett Merkel. 4, Luxinja, owned by Jack Swagler, Arthur Apking, Kevin Brown aboard. 5, Moving On Up, owned by Terry Kraft with Greg Luther. 6, NH Dunn, owned by Paul Johnson, driven by Justin Hall. 7, Elmaher Scarlet, owned by Dan Wiseman, driven by Jeff Fout. Number 8, Perfect Model, owned by Donald and Carol Lehman with Dave Hawk. 9, Music City Jesse, owned by B.L. Conway. Mark Evers will be in the sulky. No changes in tonight's Daily Double. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. NH Dunn, middle of the racetrack. Priminetta toward the rail. Here comes Classy Falcon, and on the rail, Andrea's Pocket up on the outside. Luxinja, they're down the backstretch. Wide and driving on the far outside. Perfect Model moving on up. Followed by Elmaher Scarlet and Music City Jesse as they drive to the quarter-mile pole, and NH Dunn gets the lead. Priminetta is going to come early for David Miller. Justin Hall looks over. Tries to put her back into the deuce in 28 3/5. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Priminetta has brushed to the front. NH Dunn, the stalker, second. Moving up on the outside, Classy Falcon third. Andrea's Pocket is fourth. Perfect Model swings into contention fifth. Next in line comes Elmaher Scarlet as the field moves hub to the half-mile pole. Luxinja gets caught along the rail. Music City Jesse is up on the outside and moving on up. They're at the half in 59 1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. From the outside, Classy Falcon takes the lead by a nose. Right alongside in second, the favorite, Priminetta. 3 wide sweep, Perfect Model, nowhere to go for NH Dunn. Driving up on the outside, Elmaher Scarlet. Far outside, Music City Jesse, Andrea's Pocket. Trying to close from the back, Luxinja, and moving on up. Speeding by 3/4, Perfect Model, making the same move she did last week. Opens up about 4 lengths in 129. Around the far turn, Perfect Model. Here's Elmaher Scarlet on the outside of Priminetta. NH Dunn still looks for racing room on the far outside. Luxinja gets out. Racing through the stretch. Perfect Model on top. Elmaher Scarlet is up on the outside. Luxinja on the far outside, and Andrea's Pocket along the rail. Deep stretch, Perfect Model. Luxinja, Elmaher Scarlet was third. Here's the winner of the first, 8, Perfect Model. 3-year-old brown filly by Noble Land Sam out of Winnie Win. Owned by Donald and Carol Lehman of Columbus. Trained by Leo Groves. Hard driven by David Hawk. To cover the mile here in 159 2. Number 8, Perfect Model, the winner. 8-4 exacta, 74.20. 8-4-7 try, $714 even. We're going to set the next post at 7:58 because we have some boots and sets. Here comes the field for this race. Number 1 is Scandal Spree. Racing under saddle, Trot and Pace, Scandal Spree, Nancy Heigl, Mr. Nat, Tina Nestle, Dr. R.E. Ann Brown, Darla Conklin aboard 4, Charlie R., Carrie O'Quinn, and Red Romaine, Christina Russell, and Nuke Gone. And they're off. Red Romaine on the far outside takes the lead. Dr. R.E. from between horses, Charlie R., and up on the outside, Nuke Gone. Scandal Spree along the rail, and Mr. Nat is up on the outside as they race to the opening quarter. Taking over command, Carrie O'Quinn and Red Romaine. Nuke Gone moves up on the outside for Christina Russell. Quickly moving in between horses, Dr. R.E. and Ann Brown. 3 horses are fanned out, 30 3/5. Moving past the stands to the half-mile pole. Nuke Gone on the far outside with a short lead. Dr. R.E. between horses. Now fighting back along the rail, Red Romaine. Nuke Gone and Red Romaine heads apart for the lead. Dr. R.E. Here comes Charlie R. And the trotters are at the end, Mr. Net and Scandal Spree. Moving to the half-mile pole, Nuke Gun with a short lead on the outside, and Red Romaine fighting back in 101. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Nuke Gun gets the lead 3 parts of a length. Red Romaine right alongside in second. Ann Brown, who dueled early on, now has some kick with Dr. R.E. on the outside, leaving the 5/8 and heading to 3/4. Nuke Gun for Christina Russell quickly draw off. Carrie O'Quinn fighting back with Red Romaine. Ann Brown closer into third. Racing by 3/4 in a pretty good 1:32.2. As the Pacers begin to get away now on the far turn. Nuke Gun opens up about a 3-length lead. Red Romaine second, Dr. R.E. third as these three straighten away. Christina Russell brings Nuke on home, sweeping to the front, opening up about an 8-length advantage. It is Nuke on. Dr. R.E. on the outside of Red Romaine. Nuke on. 2:03 and 1. The 5 held second, Red Romaine, and 3, Dr. R.E. was third. Of the daily double exact and trifecta wagering, 1 Mighty Appealing. Over the Mighty Appealing stable, driven by Kenny Edwards. 2 is Max H. Dennis, owned by Jeff and Ethel Dennis. Jeff Dennis drives. 3 Independence, owned by Phyllis Dill with Brett Merkel. 4 Perfect Liaison, owned by Bobby Stewart, Mimi and Sander Lennenberg. Mike Zeller will be aboard. 5 is Boogie Woogie Choo Choo, owned by James and Cliff Downard. John Collins in the bike. 6 Racer, owned by Tom Crouch and Jeff Fout. Jeff Fout in the bike. 7 Over and Away, owned by Iris and Harry Horowitz with Debbie Rucker. 8 Shiv, owned by Tom Blankenship and Ralph Sturr Jr., driven by David Miller. 9 Sunny Kara, owned by Donald Moyer and driver Greg Brumbaugh. 10 Chicanery, owned by Doyle Bross, John Zaccaro, Don Perrin Jr., and Don Wally. Dave Hawk will be in the sulky. And there they go. They're off and trotting. Shiv on the far outside takes the lead quickly on the rail. Mighty Appealing second. Driving up on the outside, Perfect Liaison third. Out of the second tier, Chicanery to fourth. Moving midway on this top turn, Max H. Dennis. Caught wide to the outside, Boogie Woogie Choo Choo and Independence. Here comes the 9, Sunny Care up on the outside, the 2-year-old Eraser, and at the end it's Over and Away. All on gate, trotting for command by the opening quarter-mile pole. Shiv along the rail. Perfect Liaison up on the outside and a crisp 29 4/5. Trotters 3 deep past the stands. Chicanery on the outside of Perfect Liaison. Early trot setters quickly shuffle back to the pocket in third. Shiv. Mighty Appealing fourth. Boogie Woogie Choo Choo out of the roundhouse in fifth. Eraser is off stride sixth. They're at the half-mile pole. In command right now, Perfect Liaison being sent and sent hard by Mike Zeller. 58 4. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Perfect Liaison 4-5 favorite, bouncing right along. Chicanery's up on the outside, second. Shiv third, Mighty Appealing fourth. Max H. Dennis fifth, Long Mile Boogie Woogie Choo Choo Independence is next. Here's Over and Away up on the outside, Sunny Cara far back to Eraser. Jumping off stride, that's the 10 Chicanery. Perfect Liaison is now opening up in 129 and 3. Around the far turn. Perfect Liaison keeps to her task. Mighty Appealing on the outside of Shiv. Max H. Dennis Over and Away. Way on the outside as the field straightens away. Perfect Liaison with a commanding lead. Mike Zeller brings the trotters for the second on home. It's now Perfect Liaison on top by about 6 lengths. The only battle here is for second. Perfect Liaison, Mighty Appealing over the 3 Independents. Here's the winner of tonight's second race, welcoming the Millette Harness Club. 4 Perfect Liaison, 3-year-old Bay filly by Nearly Perfect out of Tender Liaison by Practice. Owned by trainer Bobby Stewart of Kentucky, Mimi and Sander Lennenberg of Pennsylvania. Driven tonight by Mike Zeller to cover the mile here in 2 minutes and 1/5, equaling her lifetime best. Number 4, Perfect Liaison, the winner of tonight's second race. And in tonight's second race, Mighty Appealing was second, Max H. Dennis fourth, Independence third, Perfect Liaison. Perfecta wagering 1, Pats Nicole. Owned by Sue Stetson, driven by David Miller. 2, Turn 'em Over. Owned by Kirk Nichols with Randy Tharps. 3, Go Mary Joe. Owned by Wesley Helton with Jody Essig. 4, Frugal Rose. Owned by David Franklin. Bob Harper will be aboard. Number 5, Cat K, owned by Clarence DeLong with Dave Hawk, 6 Logistics. Owned by Ramon Perez and Charles Neff, 7 Bow Me Over. Owned by Catherine Shale with Darren Mauser, 8 San My Sane. Owned and driven by John Barr, 9 MW. Owned by Joe Schwartz and James Sparks. Driver change Mike Wilder, 10 Coneyat County. Owned and driven by Robert Hagnier. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Way to a good start from between horses. Frugal Rose, Go Mary Joe. Up on the outside, Logistics. They're down the backstretch. Turn 'em Over and the rail mare, Pats Nicole. Widen driving Cat K, followed by Coneyat Cunning. Bow Me Over, San My Sane and Emma W. Scrambling to the quarter-mile pole. The gray on the outside gets the lead. Logistics a length and a half from Go Mary Joe, tucked in there third. Frugal Rose, 28 and 2. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Logistics continues to show her heels to the field. Go Mary Joe is racing second. Frugal Rose in third. After that, Turn 'em Over fourth. Pats Nicole comes to the outside. She's got some cover. Here's Bow Me Over, third over on the outside. Coneyat County, Cat K, the other newcomer. Followed by San My Sane and Long Shot Emma W. Action galore here. They're at the half. In 59 and 1, they straighten out for their long journey down the backstretch. From the outside, taking over command, it's Frugal Rose. Here's Go Mary Joe driving up on the outside. Second, Pats Nicole on the attack. Third, Logistics quickly succumbs to fourth. Here's Bow Me Over up on the outside. Turn 'em Over between horses. Middle racetrack, Cat K. Coneyat County's going to get caught behind the gray. San My Sane, ditto, far outside Emma W. Moving by 3/4 in 129. Could this be the night for Go Mary Joe? Go Mary Joe leads the way. Bow Me Over, though, swings up on the outside. Nearest the rail, Pats Nicole on the far outside. Turn 'em Over. Off the turn in the stretch. They're on their way home. From the outside, easily getting the lead. It's Bow Me Over. It's Bow Me Over, Go Mary Joe with Pats Nicole. Middle of the racetrack, Turn 'em Over. Deep stretch. Bow Me Over, Go Mary Joe second. 7 starts in a row. Pats Nicole third. 2, Turn 'em Over was fourth. Comes the winner of tonight's third race, number 7, Bow Me Over. 5-year-old bay mare by Parsons, bred out of Bow Over. Owned by Catherine Ann Shale of Dayton. Trained by Jackie Teagar. Hard driven by Darren Mauser to cover the mound 159 and 2. 7 Bow Me Over, the winner of tonight's third race. 7-3 exacta, $54.60. Superfecta, $531.40, $531.40. Field for the Boots and Saddle Series in behind starter John Betts. Once again, the top 8 money earners in this series come back to race Jugette Day. The next 8 will come back and race on Consolation Sunday, September the 14th. Gaten moving up, and there they go. Purple Scooter on the far outside takes the lead. Between horses, taking chances up on the outside, Scootin' Newton. Toward the rail, the Music of the Night and the rail horse, My Trap. They're down the backstretch. Purple Scooter easily takes over. Gap of 3 to taking chances along the rail. Moving up on the outside, Scootin' Newton, gap of 5 to the Music of the Night, and the trailer is still the one, My Trap, as they move by the opening quarter-mile pole with Purple Scooter leading the way in a solid 30 seconds flat. Field is on gate, racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Carrie O'Quinn weeds with Purple Scooter. Purple Scooter continues to show her heels to the field, taking chances for Bridget Nappy a second. Kathy Gacerta takes back with Scootin' Newton to third. Next in line comes Deborah Stocker with the Music of the Night. Christina Russell, who won our first race tonight, has got My Trap in trailing position. They're at the half-mile pole, reaching the halfway point in 1:01 and 1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Purple Scooter continues to lead by about 5 lengths. Quickly being hustled up on the outside. Scootin' Newton, the points leader, is in the second. Dropping back, taking chances third. Coming as a tandem, the Music of the Night and My Trap. Little less than 3/8 of a mile to pace. Under saddle continuing to lead the way, Purple Scooter. Scootin' Newton inches up on the outside. Second gap of 5 to the Music of the Night. My Trap on the outside, taking chances, gives way. 132 and 2. Moving around the far turn to the top of the stretch. Purple Scooter. Scootin' Newton up on the outside. Quickly between horses, the Music of the Night. She's got some kick with about a 1/16 of a mile to drive. Nearest the rail, Purple Scooter. Scootin' Newton right alongside in second. Purple Scooter, wire to wire. Here comes the winner of the Boots and Saddle second division. Purple Scooter, 5-year-old bay gelding by B.J. Scooter out of Purple Rain. Owned and trained by Ralph Boston of Sunbury. And the winning driver and rider is Carrie O'Quinn in 2:02 and 2. 8:5:10, 1:76.9 on the bottom. The time of the mile was 1:59 and 2. In the fourth, Jeff Fout will drive 2, Moonlight Alley. Sixth race, the 4, Bad Motor Scooter. The driver will be Jody Essig. The field for tonight's fourth race, start of the early pick 3. 1, Billy Don't Be a Hero, now owned by Myron Kester, driven by Mike Wilder. Number 2, Moonlight Alley, owned by J.D. Burnett and the Arnold Sabin estate, and the late driver changed to Jeff Fout. 3 is Bullwit, owned by Danny Hall and Ralph Smith with Bob Harper. 4, Sterling, Ohio, owned by Charles Dillon there Jr., and the driver is Randy Tharps. 5, B.J. Deere, now owned by Trish Soulsby and Gary 2R Martin with David Miller. 6, Mattart's Log, owned by Gary Bobo in the Star Country stable with David Hawk. 7 is Straven, owned by Roy Murphy. Darren Mauser will be in the sulky. Field for the 4th, Jeff Fout to drive the 2. Now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing, a little bit rough in between horses. Bullwit and Moonlight Alley also getting caught along the rail. The 1, Billy Don't Be a Hero, had some early breakers in there, and here comes Straven on the far outside to get the lead. Mattart's Log moves in to be second, followed by the favorite B.J. Deere in third, Sterling, Ohio fourth, followed by Bullwit in fifth. After that, Billy Don't Be a Hero, far back, Moonlight Alley, rolling by the opening quarter in 28 seconds flat. 5, Well Bunch, racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Straven's going to have a short-lived lead. First to flush. Coming with a rush, here's B.J. Deere up on the outside, brushing to the front. Power sweep to command. B.J. Deere opens up about 4 lengths. Here comes Sterling, Ohio up on the outside of Straven. Along the rail, Mattart's Log. After that, Bullwit. Distant trailers are Billy Don't Be a Hero, and the 2 is virtually pulled up. Moonlight Alley sizzling by the half in 57 flat. Straightening out down the backstretch. Favorites now a little bit rough and has jumped off stride. B.J. Deere is on the run, and Straven benefits and retakes the lead. It's now Straven by a length and a half. Mattart's Log back into contention second. Here's Sterling, Ohio driving up on the outside third. Bullwit fourth. B.J. Deere settles down, but it's too late tonight. Racing by 3/4 in a quick 1:26 and 3. Around the far turn. Straven on top by about 2. Here comes B.J. Deere from the back. He's not out of this one yet. 1/16 of a mile to pace. Straven on top. Mattart's Log second, followed by Sterling, Ohio third. Deep stretch. Straven, Mattart's Log, and Sterling, Ohio third. $9,700 in tonight's twin trifecta carryover for the field that will go to the post here in the 5th race. Trophy being presented by Betty's Ballroom Bunch, 1 Invader Hall. Owned by Alan Levitt, Elizabeth, and William Keene. Driven by Jeff Fout, 2 Sharp Dressed Sam. Owned by Jeffrey and Kevin Reed, and the driver is David Miller, 3 Make Me Proud Ty. Owned by Michael Bardo with Mike Wilder, 4 Sticks Cadet. Owned by Rex Ulrich, driven by Jim Moenix, 5 Beatty Towner. Owned by Post Printing Company with Rick Heitman, 6 Louis Hart. Owned by Constance Messler with Ryan Holton, 7 is the Laugh-Meister. Owned by Alan Wood, Sid Savitt, Alan and Elliot Wiesenberg with David Rankin, 8 Caleb Special. Owned by Pearl Paver, driven by John Collins, 9 Watch My Style. Owned by John Smith with David Hawk, 10 Star Blaster. Owned by Leonard Buckner, Tom Brinkerhoff will be in the sulky. 5. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Boy, the 1 gets away slow. Invader Hall. Make Me Proud Ty takes the lead. Sticks Cadet between horses. Here comes Louis Hart rushing up on the far outside. Sharp Dressed Sam quickly on the rail to 4th. Next in line, Beatty Towner. Moving up on the outside, Caleb Special. The 1 kicks in, Invader Hall. Driving up on the far outside, Watch My Style. Star Blaster out of the 2nd tier. And the Laugh-Meister. Flying by the opening quarter, 27 and 3, brushing to the front. From the outside, Sticks Cadet for Jim Moenix. Sticks Cadet is there by 2. Sharp Dressed Sam starts the action from mid-pack, and Louis Hart will stay the pocket. Make Me Proud Ty buried in 4th. Driving up on the outside, parked every step, Caleb Special to fifth as they hit the half-mile pole. Beatty Towner, here comes Invader Hall on the outside. Leftmeister is being sent up. Watch My Style and Star Blaster. 57 flat, action galore here. Sharp Dress Sam goes on by to get the lead. Sharp Dress Sam leads the way, a little bit of confusion in behind. From the outside, here's Caleb Special second. Invader Hall third. Leftmeister three deep on the far outside. Beatty Towner now kicks in. Wide open here. Racing by 3/4 in a quick 127 around the far turn. Sharp Dress Sam with a short lead. Invader Hall between horses. Caleb Special along the rail. Leftmeister is up on the outside. Star Blaster begins a steady move. They're fanned out 7 wide in the drive. Sharp Dress Sam. Invader Hall between horses. Caleb Special is up on the outside. Invader Hall. Caleb Special. Invader Hall. Caleb Special. And Leftmeister may have got the show, Bob. Comes one Invader Hall. Improving 2-year-old Bay Colt by Cam Best out of Impish Lobel by Temujin. Owned by Alan Levitt of Lexington, Elizabeth and William Keene of Richmond, Kentucky, giving Bobby Stewart his second victory on the program. Winning driver Jeff Fout, mile here 157-2, number 1 Invader Hall, the unofficial winner. And they're on hand in the winner's circle to meet and greet the big bunch from Betty's Ballroom Bunch. Number 8, Caleb Special was second, 7, the Leftmeister was third, and 5, Beatty Towner was fourth. Windows are open on the 6th. Jody Essig to drive 4, Bad Motor Scooter. Jody Essig driving 4, Bad Motor Scooter. Waiting for this result to become official. Number 1 is Comatros, owned by Ernest Evans, driven by Dave Hawk. 2 is Elmerhurst Prowler, leased by Jerry Smith, and the driver is Jeff Fout. 3, Thrifty Ryan, owned by Robert N. Burns, no relation with Justin Hall. 4, Bad Motor Scooter, owned by Clay Smith Jr. and Herbert Miller, and the driver changed to Jody Essig. 5, Southern Art, owned by Chester Ott with Eric Ledford. Number 6, CL Scooter, owned by National Trail Investment with Dan Ader. Number 7, Weeneen's Business, owned by Jan McPherson and David Miller. 8, It Does Come Easy, owned by June Baird, Mike Welder. 9, Hoosier Legacy, owned by Ron Daly, driven by Terry Thompson Jr. 10, Mark, Set, Go. Owned by Susan Ann Phillip James. John Collins will be in the sulky. 5 minutes till. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off fan pacing. Elmerhurst Prowler takes the lead. Southern Art between horses. Bad Motor Scooter in the center. 4 wide of the far outside. CL Scooter, they're down the backstretch. Comatros moves in to be 5th. The 10's out of the second tier. Mark, Set, Go. Thrifty Ryan slipping through after that. Weeneen's Business. It Does Come Easy and Hoosier Legacy. Seating arrangements are complete to the quarter-mile pole, and Southern Art is out winging in 28 4/5. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Action for the top. Here's Elmerhurst Prowler to get the lead. Elmerhurst Prowler goes on by Southern Art, followed by Bad Motor Scooter in third. Driving up on the outside, Mark, Set, Go. The early leavers, CL Scooter, as they wheel around this paddock turn, head of the half-mile pole. Comatros will get caught in along the rail. Weeneen's Business up on the outside. Thrifty Ryan is 8th. 9th on the outside, It Does Come Easy, and long shot Hoosier Legacy. They're at the half in 59, chugging down the backstretch. Out on top, it's Elmerhurst Prowler. Mark, Set, Go. Getting rimmed on the outside, second. Nearest the rail, the pocket sitter, Southern Art to third. On the far outside with a rush, It Does Come Easy. Getting caught between horses, CL Scooter. Bad Motor Scooter saving ground. Weeneen's Business, Comatros. The trailers can't go on. Hoosier Legacy and Thrifty Ryan in 128 4. We're down to 8 at the 7/8. Elmerhurst Prowler digs down deep. Right alongside in second, It Does Come Easy. Southern Art waits for the passing lane. Racing through the stretch, ding-dong battle going here. In between horses, it does come easy. With a rush, though, Southern Art's going to reach. Southern Art, it does come easy, and Bad Motor Scooter was third. 3 on 7, 1 and 5, 220 even. Exacta $48.20, and the regular try $204.20. Post time 9:38. No changes in the 7th. The 8th is clear. 9th race. Mike Wilder driving 6 Harley Highlight. Mike Wilder to drive 6 Harley Highlight. 10th race to 9. Steady Mahone. The driver will be David Miller. Need a taxi driver to please contact the grandstand office. Number 1 is Traditional Guy. Owned by Samuel Rogers. Elliott Deaton drives. 2 No Wolf Calls. Owned by Robert Zink. Driver Darren Mauser. 3 2-bit Die Job. Owned by Charles Autry with Bob Harper. 4 JV's L. Sid. Leased by Ron Barker with Justin Hall aboard. 5 is T.H. Joe. Owned by Michael Martin with Jeff Fout. 6 Pro Piteous Lad. Owned by Roy Murphy. Driven by David Miller. 7 is Sandman Scooter, owned by Jim Florio and Delana Hoover with Debbie Rucker. Number 8 is Brentson, owned by Gary Risco with David Majeski. 9 Etta Energizer, owned by Denny Centers and Russell Dalton with Roy Wilson. And number 10 is Missing Detail, owned by J.C. Moffitt. Eric Ledford will be in the field. Is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Way to a good start from between horses. 2-bit Die Job takes the lead. T.H. Joe on the attack early. Second, Traditional Guy moves in to be third. Ranging up on the outside, Branson the fourth. Underway, Pro Piteous Lad the fifth. Then we're off to the rodeo. Here comes Missing Detail, the Deuce. No Wolf Calls. After that, JB's L. Sid. Next in line, Sandman Scooter, 9th. 10th and last, Etta Energizer. By the opening quarter, a swift 28 seconds flat, racing past the stands. To the half-mile pole, the slugfest continues. Branson up on the outside of T.H. Joe. Live cover, Pro Piteous Lad. 2-bit Die Job takes the 4th in box as they move past us and drive to the half-mile pole. Traditional Guy is buried in 5th, moving up on the outside, Missing Detail. Here comes No Wolf Calls, JB's L. Sid, Sandman Scooter, 9th along the rail. 10th on the outside, Etta Energizer, 56 and 3, who will give inside the final 3/8 of a mile. Pro Piteous Lad up on the outside, T.H. Joe still pacing along on top. Down the backstretch to 3/4. Pro Piteous Lad leads the way. Here's Missing Detail up on the outside. T.H. Joe has still got some kick. 126 and 1. Moving around the far turn. Moving away on top, it's T.H. Joe. He put away Pro Piteous Lad. Traditional Guys along the rail. Sandman Scooter's got some work to do, and he's out in the parking lot right now. Moving through the stretch, T.H. Joe, Sandman Scooter closing down the center of the racetrack. Traditional Guy and Pro Piteous Lad. T.H. Joe tight for second, 6 Pro Piteous Lad, and 7 Sandman Scooter. Here comes a photo. 6 Pro Piteous Lad and 7 Sandman Scooter. 2 No Wolf Calls, 4th. In the winner's circle, T.H. Joe, 5-year-old bay gelding by Tucson Hanover out of Caps Bell. One in Richwood by Michael Martin, trained by Richie Holton, driven tonight wire to wire by Warden Jeff Fout, taking no prisoners there in a time of the mile in 1:56 and 2 in a lifetime best. Number 5, T.H. Joe, the winner. Here comes the field for tonight's 8th race. Start of the late pick 3, 1 Rembrandt's Ideal. Owned by Jim Chiliff and David Harris. Mike Wilder drives. 2 Mr. L. Owned by Mark Clark with David Miller. 3 Bam Bam and Pebbles. Owned by David Franklin with Randy Tharps. Number 4 Name Your Poison. Owned by Bruce and Trish Soulsby with Jeff Fout. Number 5 Big and Slim. Owned by Russell Smith with Jody Essing. Number 6, Pressure, owned by Max and Ron Taubert. Ron Taubert drives 7, He a Lucky Star. Owned by Leonard Buckner, Eric Ledford will be in the sulky. 6 minutes till post. Go. They're often pacing. Bam Bam and Pebbles takes the lead in Rembrandt's Ideal. Name Your Poison in the White Hood. They're down the backstretch. Mr. L, Big and Slim, Pressure, and He a Lucky Star, and they're flying to the first eighth of a mile. Rembrandt's Ideal showing good gate speeds. Got the top. Mr. L second. Bam Bam and Pebbles getting scorched pretty good here. Name Your Poison tries to fill the gap, but is going to come early for Jeff Fout as he brings him out of mid-pack. Big and Slim, Pressure, He a Lucky Star, 28 flat past the stands to the half-mile pole. With a rush on the outside, Name Your Poison up to challenge Rembrandt's Ideal. Who will give way first in here? Rembrandt's Ideal, Name Your Poison alongside. Mr. L watching these festivities from the pocket in third. Jody Essex got Big and Slim into the action fourth. Bam Bam and Pebbles, Pressure, He a Lucky Star, Torturous. First half mile stepped off in 57. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Rembrandt's Ideal, 3 parts of a length. Name Your Poison shaking his head in second. Mr. L fighting back from the pocket third. Big and Slim, the main danger on the far outside. They're off the 5/8, chugging to 3/4. Big and Slim on the outside quickly goes to the lead. It's Big and Slim, Rembrandt's Ideal, Mr. L. Name Your Poison gives way. Bam Bam and Pebbles and Pressure. Racing by 3/4 in 1:26 and 1. He a Lucky Star has now been shuffled way back to the trail spot. Field moves to the top of the stretch. They're in the stretch. It's Big and Slim on the outside. Rembrandt's Ideal is fighting back with every stride. Mr. L tries to pick it up, and Bam Bam and Pebbles driving finish in here. Big and Slim on the outside of Rembrandt's Ideal. Big and Slim, Rembrandt's Ideal, Mr. L will finish third. Here comes the unofficial winner of the 8th, number 5, Big and Slim. 3-year-old bay colt by Tinslater out of Prairie Sonnet, owned in Fortville, Indiana by Russell Smith, trained by Mike Murphy. Driven tonight by Jody Essig to cover the mile in a lifetime best 155 and 2. Number 5, Big and Slim, the winner of tonight's 8th race. Windows are open on race 9. Mike Wilder driving 6, Harley Highlight. 10th race, David Miller driving 9, Steady Mahone. 5-1 exacta, $50.80, $50.80. Trifecta, $130.40, $130.40. Next post is $10.16. For tonight's 9th race on the track and parading to the post, number 1, Come On Tiger, owned by Suzanne Northfuss and Jerry Summers. Dan Ader drives. Number 2, Christmas Quigley, owned by Gerald Woodard and Bob Harper. 3, Payne Road Scooter, owned by Mary Dillon with Randy Tharps. Number 4, Little Blizzard, owned by Bill Metter, Darren Mauser aboard. Number 5, He's Been Bad, owned by Rhonda Stidham, Linda May with Rocky Stidham. 6 is Harley Highlight, owned by Carson Haller, and a driver change to Mike Wilder. 7, Damaris Peregrine, owned by Mark Perrin and David Rand with Jody Essig. 8 is Stew Ball, owned by Home Stock Farm with David Hawk. Number 9 is Pleasure Seeker. Number 9 is Delusion of Grandeur, owned by Gerald and Diana and Jeff Tamini and Robert Salzberger with Terry Thomas. And number 10 is Elmerhurst Bozo, owned by Constance Morgan, Roland Rue, and Larry Lewis. Dave Miller will be in the sulky. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off. Fan pacing. Come On Tiger takes the lead. Christmas Quigley between horses with a rush out of the second tier. Elmerhurst Bozo, followed by Payne Road Scooter and Little Blizzard. He's Been Bad, Harley Highlight, Damaris Peregrine, Stew Ball, and Delusion of Grandeur. On their way to the quarter-mile pole, and Come On Tigers quickly grab the racetrack. The gray on his heels in second, Elmerhurst Bozo. Floating on the outside, Christmas Quigley. After that, Randy Tharps and Payne Road Scooter, 29 and 2. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Come On Tigers out on top, bouncing along a length and a half. After that, it's Elmerhurst Bozo in second. Christmas Quigley third. He's Been Bad first up on the outside. Payne Road Scooter the fifth in box. Closing out from between horses, Harley Highlight. DeMars Peregrine, Little Blizzard is now eighth. Ninth in the center, Stewball. Delusion of Grandeur, 10th on the outside. 59-3. They straighten out for their long journey down the backstretch. The favorites are 1-2, Come On Tiger, and Elmerhurst Bozo. Moving up on the outside, Christmas Quigley to third. Payne Road Scooter fourth. Harley Highlight into the flow with a 3-wide sweep. He's Been Bad, nowhere to go, Little Blizzard. After that, it's Stewball. DeMars Peregrine, ninth on the outside, and Delusion of Grandeur. Racing by 3/4 in a quick 1:28-4. Driving around the far turn, Come On Tiger. Elmerhurst Bozo, cocked, locked, and ready to rock. In between horses, Christmas Quigley, wide and driving on the far outside, Harley Highlight. Fanned out 5 wide in the drive, Come On Tiger. Elmerhurst Bozo trying to beat Payne Road Scooter to the passing lane and does. The Grays come at 100. Elmerhurst Bozo, Come On Tiger, and Payne Road Scooter third. 3-year-old Gray Colt by Log out of Biscuit, Hanover. Owned by Constance Morgan, Roland Rue, and Larry Lewis, all of Ohio. Trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., confident, driven by David Miller. Carving them out here in 157-3. Number 10, Elmerhurst Bozo, the winner of tonight's 9th race. Bottom top exacta, $19.40. The trifecta returning $116.20. Windows are now up and on tonight's 10th and final race superfecta wagering. David Miller to drive 9, Steady Mahone. Post time at 10:35. Superfecta wagering, number 1, Odd Efficacy. Owned by Pacey Midland and Ken Cohen, driven by Jody Essig. 2, Dazzler Nuke, owned by Elliot Deaton and Steve Morningstar, driven by Elliot Deaton. 3 is Barron's Carrier, owned by Al Jan Enterprises, and the reinsman is Randy Tharps. 4, Tabitha's Circle, owned by Paul and Janet Huffman, and the bike will be Mike Welder. 5, Yankee Dragon, owned by Philip New, driven by Dean Collins. 6, Last Teardrop, owned by Chad Folk and Freddie Fender with Rick Dingledine. 7 is Mr. Whip, owned by Merle Moore, driven by Jeff Fout. 8, Tucson Guy, owned by Gary Adams with David Hawk. 9, Steady Mahone, owned by Neil and Elvin Long. Driver change, David Miller. 10, Noble Design, owned by Tim Humrick and Tanya Ledford. Eric Ledford will be in the sulky. David Miller to drive the 9. Post time in 6 minutes. Field turn, starting gate is underway. And there they go. They're off and pacing between horses. Dazzler Nuke takes the lead. Tucson Guy up on the outside. The mare Odd Efficacy along the rail out of the second tier. Noble Design. After that, it's Barron's Carrier. Steady Mahone takes the 6th in seat. Racing 7 to the turn. Tabitha Circle. After that, an 8th, Yankee Dragon. The newcomer, Last Teardrop in 9th. Tailgate sitter, Mr. Whip. Driving by the quarter-mile pole, Tucson Guy opens up here, 28 1/5. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole, Action Galore. Odd Efficacy takes over. Odd Efficacy on top, Noble Design right to her. Around the paddock turn, Tucson Guy in third. Racing fourth, Dazzler Nuke. Barron's Carrier is on the attack from mid-pack, ready to come on the outside. Steady Mahone, here's Tabitha Circle. Yankee Dragon is 8th along the rail. Last Teardrop 9th on the outside, and Mr. Whip. 57, the slugfest continues up the backstretch. Odd Efficacy continues to lead the way. Noble Design right alongside in second. Down the backstretch, Tucson Guy third. Barron's Carrier 3 deep to the far outside. Tabitha Circle further out as they race to 3/4. Noble Design by a head. Driving up on the outside, Barron's Carrier, middle of the racetrack, Tabitha Circle. And the mare gives way in 126 and 3. Moving around the far turn, Barron's Carrier clears. Tabitha Circle on the outside of Noble Design. Here comes Dazzler Nuke in the center, racing through the stretch. Barron's Carrier on top by a good margin. Moving up on the outside, Dazzler Nuke. Tabitha Circle, deep stretch. Barron's Carrier, Dazzler Nuke, Tabitha Circle. Last Teardrop gets up fourth. Here's the unofficial winner, number 3, Barron's Carrier. 10-year-old Brown Gutting by La Baron Rouge out of Berwick. One in Beaver Creek by Aljan Enterprises. Trained by Fred Winstead. Hard driven by Randy Tharps. To cover the mile here in 156 and 2. Number 3, Barron's Carrier, the winner. Exacta returning 133.20. A big superfecta, $12,474.50.